It's a Flashcard Friday, freestyle podcasting. You submitted all of these topics. We don't know what's coming. We're just going to answer your topics randomly right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Beantown, be ever ready. It's the C's. Who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis. We kept the madness every game, every practice. Prime time, Depp and D White on the sideline. Raining Jays, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. We'll be back to Monday through Friday in a few weeks. Right now, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but bonus podcasts if they happen, if they're necessary. So make sure you're subscribed right here. It's free. It's available everywhere. It's on YouTube. Watch the show there. Get into the comment section. Share your thoughts with me. I'm John Karalis. I'm a beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. I've been doing some version of this job for about 20 years now. I've written a couple of books about the Celtics as well. Today's show brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. It's a Friday show. On Fridays here in the offseason, we do Flashcard Friday. I've got a pile. This is still the original pile. We've been whittling it down. You can hear it. Random topics submitted by you on my Twitter feed and on Blue Sky. We don't know what's coming. I constantly shuffle this thing up. I don't know what topics there are, whatever it is. And it's like a freestyle podcast. We don't know what's happening. I'm going to get Tom Westerholm here because we always do this with our buddy Tom. Tom, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Tom continues to join us from an undisclosed location. Ready to I basically
the wilderness of Iowa. I said too much.
I was gonna say I have you like locked in the other room, podcasting at my behest.
Yeah.
So here we are shuffling.
I'm just glad to be let out every once in a while to do the
I'm not a monster. I put a bowl of water in there for you. You can go
vocal cords.
There's you know what I mean. There's like a little door you can crawl out of. Go pee on a bush. Okay, so it was my dog's room, but that's okay.
A lot of dead bushes in your backyard, but
yeah. I'm not picking up after you either. You got to do that yourself. Okay, so I've explained how this works. Random topics, some of them goofy, some of them real, some of them might be a little old. So there's probably some like June topics in here. We're in August, so we'll see how it goes. But ready? Here we go. We're gonna wrap. We're gonna see what we can do through here. Okay, so this said Joe Mazzulla to the Knicks. This was before they'd made their hire, and they were like, what would the Knicks do to get Joe Mazzulla? Would the Celtics give permission? It was funny let me just say, it was funny that first of all, the Knicks never asked, never bothered. Not that we know anyway. It's funny how the Knicks went through this process. I'm sorry to Mike Brown for being like the last, like any NBA job, you're like, hey, no problem. I don't care if I'm the last person that's considered. Give it to me. I'll do my best. Not a problem. Yep. But that might be one of the worst coaching searches I've ever seen in my life. Like, hey, we want your guy. We want your style. Hey, Ime Udoka. Like, can we get Ime? Like, they're like, no, get out of here. Like, right. How many people love the idea of front offices calling each other and like proposing something stupid and the other front office like laughing and hanging up, and that never happens, but this might have actually been.
It might have happened.
This might have actually been the time that it happens.
A brutal coaching search. I mean, just that feeling of like, oh well, listen, you will never know the answer if you don't ask,
right?
But like sometimes, there's still things you shouldn't ask sometimes. Like if you think you know the answer, sometimes you shouldn't ask. And
it's like going to a party at somebody's house as a single person and asking all the married men, "Can I take your wife out on a date?"
Yeah.
You know, like, come on,
like no. And then like, yeah.
Who invited this drunk guy?
I wouldn't have known the answer if I didn't ask.
I gotta ask. You never know.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite stadium food? We're getting a little goofy question here. Favorite stadium food? Are you traditionalist? Are you like hot dogs and a beer? I think at a baseball game, it's hot dogs and a beer.
Yeah.
At a basketball game?
I mean, I'm a huge popcorn guy, like
Yeah.
across the board, right? I mean, I make my own popcorn, like all that stuff. I love popcorn, eat it all the time. So I'll probably go popcorn here, but honestly, I'm not a big stadium food guy. Like,
Yeah.
it's a very basic answer, but like, I don't know, man. It's so expensive. Garbage.
So I think at TD Garden, I will say stadiums have started to offer more like varied kind of fare. So,
Yeah.
so I've mentioned this before on the podcast. Celtics Knicks series. I get a hotel down like in the financial district, which is very close to Brooklyn. I decide to go to New York Liberty, Connecticut Sun preseason just to pop over and watch, because when you don't have to watch basketball for a job, you just decide, I'll just go watch some basketball for fun.
Yeah.
But they had some killer beef empanadas at
Okay.
at Barclays Center. That I'm down with. I'm down with like some good kind of like more local, there are a lot of good beef empanada joints around Brooklyn. So
yeah, and Barclays is I think that like Barclays did have some like decent concourse food.
Yeah.
And I think that like that could be something as stadiums start to get newer, right? Like more places build new stadiums. That might be something, right? Where they're like, okay, like let's make sure that we have some decent food here. I could see like I don't think I ever ate out in the concourse at in Golden State or anything like that. But some of those newer stadiums probably.
Or like for me, Milwaukee, because they have Giannis. There's a lot of Greeks.
Yeah, that's true. They do.
They have a Euro stand. And so
they had a lot of Greek food, like in like food trucks and stuff outside the stadium too, which was
So it's like places like that have like if you have an international player, they'll have like a place for fans of like that. If there's something you can do to like that's there. But as far as like the TD Garden goes, I think it's mostly basic. Although, okay, I will say upstairs we spent way too much time on this food question. Clearly I love to eat. Upstairs in the rafters section, there's like the concessions up in the rafters area are great. They're great. It's expensive, but they're great. And they had like a blackened chicken sandwich up in the rafters. I was up there for a concert, and they was like, oh damn, blackened chicken sandwich. Yeah, give me that. So anyway, sorry, there's an extended cut there with food. All right. Oh, we just talked about this the other day. Pace.
In favor.
Playing with pace. I also am in favor of playing with pace. Now you can get extended pace discussion on our Wednesday show where we talked about Chris Boucher and all of that, but we can kind of add to that a little bit here, which is I think Rick Carlisle was correct in that the way, especially now in the second apron era, this 2 megastar, certainly the 3-star thing is gone. The 2 megastar thing is tough. You got to draft them and pay them when they're young, and playing, you got to surround them with like cheaper players that will try harder. And that means playing with pace. I think inadvertently the NBA, with all of these financial rules, might have created or is on its way to creating a style of basketball that is less slow down and more kind of like you got to grab and go, because the few teams that are trying hard now, they're winning and they're beating you. So you have to try hard yourself. So I think pace, it's an interesting little thing. Like I wonder if Rick Carlisle has hit on something by saying pace, trying hard, all that stuff is kind of like the future of the NBA.
A lot easier to play fast, play hard, just play really up-tempo basketball when you have a lot of decent players too, right? Like when you can like if your main guys get a little tired and you can throw another wave of good players out there and just keep the pace up, that's a helpful thing as well. So, yeah, I mean, you look at your Pacers, you look at your Thunder, you look at teams that get up and down. It's like, well, there's not just good starters. There's pretty good guys coming off the bench too.
And I think the Celtics, one of the reasons, like they play slow, but I think and I mentioned it the other day, but they are terrible at forcing turnovers.
Yeah.
And
right.
Joe has talked about before each of the last 2 seasons, we got to turn the ball over. We got to get teams to turn the ball over more. That is part of pace. One of the reasons why the Thunder pace, it's not just like grab makes and just run off of makes. We've seen them do it. We saw it when they did it to the Celtics in OKC.
Yeah.
They destroyed the Celtics by turning the Celtics over and running and just piling up possession after possession after possession. And pace is the measure of possessions over 48 minutes. You can really rack up 2, 3, 4 possessions in a minute by forcing a couple of turnovers and running off of one miss. So you get a little run like that, the other team calls a timeout. You've really maximized your pace. So one of the keys, it's not just making quicker decisions like we've said. It's defensively, and I don't know if this team's going to be good enough defensively to do it, but
yeah,
you have to force turnovers to be a faster paced team.
It's going to be harder without Drew Holiday.
It's going to be very hard without Drew Holiday. I mean, look at the Pacers. One of their hallmarks is full court defense.
Yeah.
So part of trying hard is defending hard. And so that's case. All right. I feel like we spent a lot more time on food and a lot less time on basketball in that segment. I apologize for that, but don't get me started on food. It's the only thing I like talking about.
We're just pacing ourselves for the rest of the podcast.
That's right. All right. Heading into the break on playoffs or lottery next season, which is actually an interesting question because I don't know how bad the Celtics will actually be. Playoffs or lottery next season? We'll answer that when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by Open Phone. Open Phone is the business solution to make sure you are not missing any phone calls when you have an urgent need, right? You're upset, you have a service, something has gone wrong. You call somebody up, that first person to answer gets the job. So you don't want to be the person who isn't getting that phone call answered. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system built to streamline and scale your customer communications, all from an app on your phone or on your computer. Open Phone lets you manage business calls and text in one single app. They have a shared inbox feature. Your team can jump into any conversation instantly without missing a beat. That is a game changer. So is their AI agent that handles after-hours calls, answers common questions, and captures leads. This way you never miss a customer. You, Locked On Celtics listener, you can get 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's openphone, openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. If you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA, Locked On NBA Game Night, 2 podcasts covering the entire league. Eurobasket is going to start up, and they'll be talking about the NBA players playing in Eurobasket, that tournament. So lots of conversation, all those things that are happening. There are extensions being signed. There's still business being done in the NBA. So go check out Locked On NBA, Locked On NBA Game Night after you're done with this podcast. All right, Tom Westerholm, what say you? Boston Celtics 25-26 playoffs or lottery?
Well, it's the other reason it's an interesting question is, what is the question? Is it preference or prediction, right?
Let's do both.
Okay. So prediction, I think that they're more likely to be in the playoffs, to be honest, than in the lottery. Like,
okay.
I think that, especially like the high lottery, I think that they'll be in. I think that we're looking at a play-in team. I think that's where I kind of land in the East. We talked about Boucher in the last episode. I mean, I don't want to like oversell Boucher, but they got another NBA player who can play center for cheap. I think that matters when you have Derek White and Jaylen Brown. Like, I think it's a big deal. So I think playoffs are way more likely now to me. low-level playoffs. And like, again, like we talked about on the last podcast, they win a round. Holy cow. What a season. What a wild ride. But like preference, I still land in the lottery. I think that like from a team building perspective, it just makes such a bigger difference. Like whether look, if you ended up high in the lottery, like even if you gave yourself a chance with like the 11th best odds and you had a chance at the number one seed or at the number one pick, that's huge, right? Like that's a big deal. If you didn't get that and you had the number 11 pick to trade for somebody after you did all of this finagling with the salary cap, that's a big deal too. Like, I think that just from a team building perspective, I think a lottery season would be more beneficial than like a playoff run. But I think that they have put together a pretty good team considering all the constraints. So, I mean, it's not like getting to the playoffs would be a bad thing. I just think that the asset that you get from not making the playoffs would probably be a little bit more preferable in a gap year.
And that makes perfect sense. Like, look, I'm not going to get worked up either way.
No,
right?
Same here, 100%.
I'm not going to get worked up if they don't miss the play. Like,
I'll be a little concerned if they're terrible. Like if they were just so bad that they like got the number 2 pick because they were that bad, then I have concerns.
Well, okay, that would be if you put out a lineup with Derek White and Jaylen Brown and whoever, like all like,
Richard,
Chris Boucher. Like Boucher is still an established NBA player.
Yeah,
like he's not.
Yeah,
it's not like I'm out there. It's
right.
They're if all of those guys combined are a 20-win team, that would be like, oh my God.
I find that concerning.
Yeah. I would find that concerning. Also, I'd be like, oh my God, people have severely undersold Jayson Tatum's MVP candidacy. If like
retroactively give Jayson Tatum the last 6 MVPs.
Right. If a team without, like, obviously you're not going to be that good.
Yeah.
But if you're that bad without like, I know you've had losses, but if this team is that bad, which also I do not expect.
No, definitely.
But if they are, it's like, oh my God. And of course the caveat there is minus like Jaylen doesn't, pull a hamstring, which he's known to do, and misses 3 weeks, right? Like if Jaylen has a hamstring issue, which he has had in the past, and he misses a month, then okay. Then the Celtics might be a 20-win team.
Yep.
Right. So, okay. But that aside, if they're healthy in this team, so I don't, it gets a little dicey if it's like the Celtics are 30, let's just say they're 35 wins with 5 games to go.
Yeah.
And they're tied for the 10th seed. At that point, I'm like, okay, look, we've done it. It's 5 games. Let's just sit everybody.
Bench them.
Just
do it.
Nemish Keita at point. You know what I mean? Like Mario, Hugo Gonzalez start. Like just, and like, look, Joe's going to try to win those games and he might win a couple and it might screw them. But
yeah,
if you're at a point, like if you're at a breaking point in late March and it's like, okay, we have a decision to make. I would be like, okay, if you're here, then just tank.
I agree.
You know what I mean? But if they're a 500 team and like the Orlando Magic were the 7th seed at a 500 team last year or whatever it was, 6th seed. So there is a playoff, like I can see a playoff appearance. I still think this team is maybe it is playing. Maybe they can get to the 6th seed if like the stuff we were talking about the other day, like they can overachieve and all that stuff, and maybe they get to a 6th seed. Okay, that's fine, right? Because I'm not a big fan of like losing on purpose.
Yeah.
But like I said, if I think the team makes the playoffs. I do agree that if they were able to make the lottery, if it was a realistic possibility without being egregious about it, you might as well just do it. And if they are on the cusp, 9th seed, 10th seed in March, I am going to be tank commander on this podcast, man.
Yeah.
I am just going to be like, sit everybody, stop winning games, suspend Joe Mazzulla for 3 weeks so he can't like let his competitive nature take over, all of that stuff. Like that's where I'm fair warning to everybody. That's where I will go because it just makes the most sense. Get yourself the top, a chance at a good pick. And who knows how that goes. You could be like the Warriors. You get a high pick and you just kind of reload and whatever. Anyway. Yep. Okay. So this makes up for all the food talk in the first segment. We did a whole segment on that one question, playoffs or lottery. Okay. So whatever happens next, we're going to rapid fire third segment. And hopefully
should we try to like really rapid fire it? Like really just hit them fast.
Just hit them fast.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, let's see. Here's what we're going to go into the third segment with. Favorite most fun playoff series since 14-15, which excluding the last 2 years, like the championship.
Okay, since
your favorite
15. All right, I got it.
Favorite most fun playoff series since 14-15.
Yep.
We'll reveal that when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is going to keep you really engaged in all of these summer sports because FanDuel is the best way to make even the most boring regular season games a little bit more exciting. You're already following the action, right? You're kind of tagging along this little ride of baseball or golf or tennis or whatever. So why not open up that FanDuel app? You can get in on the game while your friends are going and getting sunburned on the beach or whatever. Using the FanDuel app can help you track your favorite matchups. The app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. Whether you're playing a same-game parlay, watching a bet ride into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like you're part of the action. Very important to set your limits, set your budget, so you're not overdoing it. It's fun to put a little action, a little skin in the game, but you don't want to overdo it. Set your limit, set your budget. So when you hit that, if you have a little bit of a cold streak, it happens. You can just cool off, come back when you get a little bit more disposable income, and have some more fun on FanDuel. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right.
I was looking up two of them. I'm ready.
Looking up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to refresh my memory here. I think I know the answer. But you've had the benefit of the break.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I get the year right.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got back-to-back seasons. For me, 2017 Celtics Wizards. That was the IT season. That's
Kelly Olynyk Game 7, right?
Yep, that's the one.
That's the one.
It's
that's
beautiful.
Jay Crowder booping John Wall nose.
IT hitting the Morris twin with just the nastiest step back. Yeah, I mean, just unbelievable stuff all around. My other one is 2018 Celtics Sixers. That was the first Tatum Brown Rozier series that was like, like where I was like, wait just a minute, these guys are incredible. Like,
was that the confetti game? Was the confetti game in that series?
Which one?
Was that the confetti game? Was Aaron Baines?
Yes, the confetti game was in that series. The 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0 from Marcus Morris was in that game. The incredible series, and also really eye-opening because that was when Ben Simmons was good and they had Joel Embiid. And it was like, okay, I mean, the Celtics probably aren't going to win this because they don't have Kyrie and they don't have Gordon Hayward. And then they came out and did win it. And it was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. It's interesting that this Jayson Tatum and this Jaylen Brown, that these guys are at that stage already where, where they can take down a team that was considered better. And it was two young cores going against each other. It was felt like a kind of a proving ground for both of them. The Celtics won it. It was really fun to watch. So yeah, that was. I mean, from a coverage standpoint, the narratives wrote themselves from that one. It was very fun. Plus, we were already riding high off Terry Rozier calling Eric Bledsoe Drew Bledsoe, and all of that drama from the first round series. That was very funny. I enjoyed that playoff run a whole lot, and that was my favorite of those of that series of those.
That's excellent
of that
choice.
Yeah,
mine is that Wizards. Mine is that Wizards
great
one. It's just an incredible. You get everything in that. But the Sixers one with the premature confetti and
so funny.
just hilarious. And like Aaron Baines, that was like the beginning of, oh my God, Aaron Baines shoots 3-pointers. Like that was crazy. Okay, next topic here.
I spent too long. I was too long. My bad.
Now, sports journalism is bad now. Yeah, let's get into that. How can we rapid fire that? Because it's bad now. Okay, reasons it's bad. Why is sports journalism bad? First of all, let me just say this: sports journalism is still good. The people doing actual journalism is still good. Sports content is bad. AI, big reason. Lot of AI content. Second reason, social media just ruins everything. Everybody's got hot takes, and everything has to be a take now, right? It's not just, you can't just write. Everything has to be, you can't be on the fence. You can't see both sides. You got to have a take, and you got to defend it to the death. And that brings me to the other thing, which is debate shows. Those debate shows, like, sure, they've made Stephen A. Smith a lot of money, and sure, they can be entertaining, but the problem is everybody say, oh my God, that's first take. That's something. And Skip Bayless and Stephen A. had a thing, and now everybody's looking for their Skip Bayless, and everybody's looking for their Stephen A. Smith, and you just get carbon copy. You get copy after copy after copy, and each duplicate you make is worse and worse and worse, and everybody has to take bigger, more brash stances, and you get people like Gilbert Arenas out there saying the dumbest, just the absolute dumbest, most vile things for attention, and I hate it. That's why it's bad.
I take back the rapid fire, because this one deserves an actual answer, right?
Yeah.
This one deserves a real answer. I think that the biggest thing that you're seeing is slop. Right. Like when people talk about journalism being bad, what they're actually saying is the slop is bad, and I'm sick of the slop. And that's a very understandable thing to get confused, because the slop tries very hard to make itself look like journalism. And it's not, it just isn't. Like, but it's not, that's not on anybody. Like, you know, you see a headline and you click on it and you're like, that sucked.
Yeah.
Good. I don't feel better. I like that didn't engage me. That wasn't interesting. The headline just grabbed me. And that's because like that slop kills you, right?
Right.
That's why you get the debate show that is then aggregated by the aggregator. That is then, and like, then you see people aggregating a debate show and they're like, oh, well, this is news. And it's not journalism. It's like journalism, like analysis and journalism are even separate things, right? Like analysis is like breaking down plays and telling you how the salary cap works. And there's a ton of value in that. You get smarter from reading analysis. Journalism is calling people up and writing stuff, you know, and finding things out and discovering things and then putting them out there for people to know. That's journalism. And those are like, when you still get good sports journalism, you get a great story. You get incredible stuff. When you get good analysis, you get really good stuff. You get smarter from reading good analysis or watching good analysis or listening to good analysis, whatever it is. Those things are still so valuable. But you get debate shows that get aggregated, that somebody uses, ChatGPT to write another story, like to just pump out like 15 stories in a day. And it's
headlines.
And you just grabby headlines. It's
and listen, I have to do headlines for this podcast that are like a word in all caps. Like I have to do something because everybody's doing it and it works. Now I'm like, now I got to be like, and this is a directive. It's like, you have to make your headlines snappier and like a little bit more attention grabbing. And I'm like, I just want to tell people what it is. And if you want to watch it, but people don't respond to that. I'm just, as you were talking, I just clicked on Celtics Google News. Former Celtics hero still jobless entering August. Any clue what that is?
Is it IT?
No, it's Al Horford. Which is so disingenuous because he is signing with the Warriors, they're just waiting for the Kuminga thing to work out. Everybody knows that. But former Celtics hero still jobless entering August is such a crap headline that makes you want to click. You're like, what's this? And it's like, oh, hold up in the Al Horford thing. Like, are you kidding me? That's why it sucks.
Yeah,
that
is why it
just
sucks. That
sucks. And no, okay. So we're talking about symptoms. No, honestly, like we're talking about symptoms. The real problem, the algorithm. That is the problem. The real issue is Google uses an algorithm, and we're all trying to trick the algorithm into showing you our stuff. So it's not just what's the latest Celtics news? What's the latest Celtics podcast? It's the word, like, are enough people clicking on it? Well, if a lot of people are clicking on it, that must mean it's good or popular. So we're going to show it to you. It's the algorithm. If you want to distill it down to why sports journalism is bad now, the algorithm. Google, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the algorithm has ruined everything, because everything out of that everything we talked about is a symptom of trying to trick the algorithm.
Yeah, I mean, because when you think about it, right, like people used to be like, I'm going to go read Bob Ryan. I'm going to go read, the great, journalists and columnists of the time. And it's like, you're not going to hear as much like, I'm going to go read Brian Robb, Jay King, John Karalis, Adam Himmelsbach, Gary Washburn. I'm not going to go read these people who are really good and genuine journalists, people who are on the beat, who are there every day asking good questions and getting good stories and giving people like good analysis that's like based on conversations with players. Instead people are getting their information from NBA Central, and sometimes a lot of the times they're getting their information from NBA Centel, right? Like that's like and that just everything's muddy, everything's confusing, everything's hard to follow, and I can't, and I'm not blaming any of the consumers here, like at least not as much, right? Because it's hard to parse through all of that stuff. It's hard to figure all that stuff out. You can do it, and the people who take the time and really dive into a team usually do, right? I think you see this on Reddit all the time, where it's like people do kind of have a general sense of like who the really good journalists on a beat are. If you dive in, you do start to understand it. But like if you just kind of are like a casual fan and you're just like, yada yada, you would be interested in reading something, it's hard to find the good stuff because it's buried under mountains and mountains of AI slop, which is killing everything.
My last word, and so much for rapid fire, but this is my last word on this is like the attention spans are so bad. Like I'll let people in on like behind the scenes YouTube stuff. We put out a show. I'm looking at my timer, 33 minutes. So we got to wrap up. If I get people to watch for 15 minutes on average, that is a great number. 15 minutes on average. This is like good YouTube numbers are like 3-point shooting percentage. Yeah. Like if you get to 40, mid 40%, like, oh my God, that's great. Nobody's watching the whole thing. Yeah. And by now, statistically, like 5 people are watching, 5 people are left. If honestly, I joked about the food thing in the beginning, but I guarantee you by now there's like 10 comments of like, I can't believe you wasted my time with all of this talk about stadium food. Like, just shut up and move on, and like unsubscribe, and people shutting it off because they can't take, instead of just being like, oh, let me just skip ahead, or let me just see how this goes, or I like this podcast normally, so let me just kind of like ride this one piece out. They just like, nope, done, gone. You're like, oh God. So it's tough, man. It's tough. It's a tough business to be in. And like, I'm an old guy. I'm 52. I predate the internet. as far as for public consumption, I've seen everything, literally everything, when it comes to putting content online, how people have started consuming it, how everything has changed. This is the worst. This is the worst, because algorithms and like all of the shorts and everything. I watch my stepson just look at his phone. He's like, click, 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 swipe, swipe, swipe. He doesn't watch anything. He doesn't watch a show. We went to a movie the other day and he's on his phone. And you're like, okay, he lost interest in the movie. And now it's like he can't just sit through it and be like, let me see if it picks back up. It's done. Short attention span. So anyway, which means everybody is tuned out by now. This is it. This is it. So, all right.
We can say whatever we want.
We can say whatever we want. In fact, this is where I would edit in I should have like a Simpsons, like technical difficulties. Well, let me give you my real thoughts about this. Beep. Okay. All right. Well, that'll do it. It's, this is a perfect ending for the Flashcard Friday. Tom, thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. I do appreciate everybody here listening, watching, being a part of the show. Everydayers, I love all the listeners, all the viewers, but the everydayers are super special because you're with me Monday through Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe now. It'd be great. Get into the comment section on the YouTube page and then share your thoughts. Share the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.